Okay, State of the District is tonight. It looks like there's about an hour before I have to go. Let me just review the speech one more time. There's a lot here, but I think it looks okay. So I'm gonna just put my head down for a minute and catch my breath, and then we'll be ready to go.
Ms. Piazza, it's time for State of the District.
Oh, thanks, Allie. Oh my gosh, where's my speech? Did you take my speech?
I think that guy took it. Stop that guy, he has Ms. Piazza's speech.
What's going on? What are you doing? Him? What did he do? He sold... What did he do? He sold Mrs. Piazza's speech for the State of the School District? Well, let's go get him. I'll get him in a full announcement. He's over there. Come on, let's go. There he is. Get him. Who got my frozen yogurt? Oh, he's there. All right, go get him. Go get him. Get him.
Good evening, everyone. As you can see, I have quite a dilemma. My speech was stolen, and I'm usually pretty good at winging it, but is there anybody out there who wants to do it for me? Mrs. Hess? Mr. Yanders? Anybody out there willing to make the speech for me? Okay. Well, wait, what's this? Mr. Pittibone, how about you? There's Mayor Panto. Wait, do you guys have my speech? They look a little frumpy. I don't know if I'm going to be any luck here. Dr. Ruth? No? Are you guys going to save the day? Or do I have to wing it? Woo! Looks like they're a little tired from that big rush downtown. We want to thank our Easton PD. I understand our culprit was cost and dealt with appropriately. I don't think I see my, the Rover Jr., you are a lifesaver. Mayor Panto, thank you for helping our Rovers, mascots. Thank you so much, you saved the day. Welcome everyone, I feel a little better now. My name is Tracy Piazza. It is my honor and privilege to be here with you this evening to share a little bit about our district and our community. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hess.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.
Thank you. This evening, we have several people that we would like to recognize and honor. So again, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Hess to continue with our ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now recognize our students going into the armed forces upon graduation. Once again, please direct your attention to the scoreboard.
If you are here this evening, please stand when your name is called.
Ariana Bowman Nelson, Navy. Sayer Bowles, National Guard. Maura Case, Army National Guard. Aiden Chin Soo, National Guard. Armandi Colbin, National Guard. John Davila Martinez, National Guard. Tizituari Fuentes, National Guard. Brandon Georgialis, Marines. Dylan Gigliotti, Marines. Darrell Grayman, National Guard. Gavin Groover, National Guard. Giovanni Jagrup, National Guard. Kemaya Jordan, National Guard. Zaire Mitchell, National Guard. Joshua Mundell, National Guard. Emily Ramirez Galvez, National Guard. Tristan Ramos Jacome, National Guard. Nachacha Rojas Cuevas, National Guard. Juan Sanchez Gomez, National Guard. Navaya Seipel, National Guard. Juliana Silva, Air Force. Patpreet Singh, National Guard. Yenderson Zaval, U.S. Army. Aiden Killey, Navy. Harley Hernandez Ramirez, Navy.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, will all veterans please stand if able to be recognized?
Thank you, Mr. Hess. We also want to recognize some very important people within the district. These are individuals who have dedicated much of their life to educating our students, supporting the work we do here within the district, planning our facilities, keeping our students safe or healthy. So tonight, we would also like to recognize our retirees for the 2025 school year. Mr. Hess.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the scoreboard.
Again, if you're here, we'll ask you to rise.
Tammy Hetzel, 30 years of service. Lisa Infantino, 31 years of service. Carly Israel, 33 years of service. Mary Lucas, 36 years of service. Judy Pokovich, 35 years of service. Virginia Falcone, 31 years of service. Brenda Hartzell, 29 years of service. Daniel Hiroshak, 28 years of service. Kristen Edwards, 27 years of service. Paul Sanoa, 26 years of service. Rita Jenny Tozy, 26 years of service. Sheila Bapp, 25 years of service. Michelle McGovern, 26 years of service. Robin Lobb, 24 years of service. Amy Fretz, 25 years of service. Colleen Carfara, 24 years of service. Richard Ressler, 24 years of service. Melissa Sundal, 24 years of service. Annette Lagath, 23 years of service. Carol Lear, 23 years of service. Diane Mullen, 30 years of service. Coralie Kello, 23 years of service. Donna Lukacek, 22 years of service. Sharon Bishey, 22 years of service. Lisa Flood, 21 years of service. Melanie Salzrulo, 21 years of service. Diane Minento, 21 years of service. Cheryl Spate, 20 years of service. Julie Jones, 19 years of service. Ann Thomas, 24 years of service. Jean Rushman, 19 years of service. Marianne Pujalis, 15 years of service. Margaret Bickle, 17 years of service. Heidi Fritz, 17 years of service. Susan Stefanik, 15 years of service. Janet Humza, 15 years of service. Lorinda Thomas, 14 years of service. David Aliberta, 13 years of service. Joseph Maddock, 8 years of service. Gerald Freed, 6 years of service. Catherine Blair, 24 years of service. Colleen Geiger, 22 years of service. Paul Dorney, 18 years of service. Matthew Defoe, 10 years of service. Simone Roy, 2 years of service. Julia Erdy, 13 years of service.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hess. And again, thank you to all of our retirees who have served our district in an outstanding capacity. Before I go any further and forget to make a few thank yous, I do want to thank our administration for being here this evening, our school board members for being here this evening, and our public officials for being here this evening. Most of all, I would like to thank you, our community, for coming out tonight and hearing a little bit about our district. Following my remarks, Mr. Hess will give some final directions, but basically you will have the opportunity to visit our stations that are around the rim of the, the stadium, and they are being hosted by members of our staff, a few students, and members of our community. So please take the time to visit each of those stations. I apologize. I have one, thank you. At this time, I'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about our district. Most of you who are here are probably quite familiar with the makeup of our area and our community in terms of a school district. However, I will share it for those who may not be familiar. We have 7 elementary schools. They range in size from 277 students to approximately 640 students. We have 1 middle school, grades 6 through 8, with approximately 2,100 students, and 1 high school, grades 9 through 12, with just under 3,000 students. We also host our own cyber academy, the Easton Cyber School, and there are approximately 600 students who live within our Easton community who choose to be educated either fully or partially through a hybrid experience in our cyber school. Our overall enrollment in the Easton Area School District is just around 8,100 students. This is a number that has been on a relatively steady but slow decline. Of those 8,000 students, 52% are males and 48 female. So a nicely balanced population of students here. In our community, we range from every socioeconomic group imaginable, as well as interests, culture, race, etc. Within our community, approximately 53% of our community are struggling and economically disadvantaged. And because of that, we are extremely thrilled for their partnership, for their students' efforts, and for our community who provides supports to anyone who needs them. We also have approximately 18% of our students who require services through our special education department. We have a phenomenal special education department at every school who makes sure that students who need support academically, socially, behaviorally, or physically receive the supports needed. We also want to acknowledge the diverse community that we have with our multilingual learners. Within the community boundaries of the Easton Area School District that reaches from Martins Creek, about 10 miles north on 611, through Forks Township, Palmer Township, College Hill, downtown Easton, and South Side Easton, and I hope I didn't miss any, but within those areas, we have approximately 35 different languages spoken in their homes and among our students who attend school every day. A reality of schools that we want children here every day to learn, take advantage of the opportunities that they have, and to teach us as adults some of their beliefs, their philosophies, their perspectives, and their interests along the way, so we too can be learners each day. A harsh reality of any time you put 8,000 people in a space is that there are times when misbehavior occurs. To that end, many of the numbers I'm sharing today are last year's statistics from the 23-24 school data, as this year's data has not been fulfilled yet. What I do want to share with you is last year there were 169 incidences or days of suspension, with fifth grade having the highest amount. The middle school had 47 incidences, days of suspension, with sixth grade having the highest amount. And 431 suspensions happened at the high school, with ninth grade be our most struggling grade. Half as many females were suspended as males. Interestingly, however, expulsions, while they are few, our females tend to get engaged in activities that are more dangerous than our males. Another hard statistic to hear about our neighbors are the number of students and families who are considered homeless. Last year's statistic, which is equal to this year's statistic, is approximately 141 of our students are considered homeless. The good news is that number is the lowest that it has been since 2021, 2022. However, to think about the opportunities and experiences and wealth that exists within this community, considering even one student homeless, is heartbreaking. We again thank them for coming to school, even in the harshest environment, and our community for supporting where they can. Last year, you heard me talk about attendance and the importance of attendance. Last year, you heard me say that attendance is not only important for our students, but also for our faculty. For we all know the talents and experience and knowledge that our staff brings to the classroom every day. And while we employ outstanding substitutes, there is never a substitute for our official staff members who have planned and prepared every day. So we encourage our staff to continue to come to work and thrive as they have. Our students, if you're not in the classroom, I would typically say you probably aren't learning anything. The truth of the matter is that's a fallacy. While we do need you and want you in our classrooms, you still have opportunities to learn by your life experiences, the internet, if you know how to vet what's real and what's fake news. But there is nothing that beats the social, emotional, and academic experience that you will receive by coming to school every day. Our attendance district-wide average is 93% attendance as our daily rate. From our schools, which there are 9, That daily rate ranged from a low of 90% daily attendance to 95% daily attendance. We often talk about chronic absenteeism, and we partner with United Way, Family Connections, and many other organizations to assist our students in getting to school so they are not considered chronically absent. That number or percentage that is considered chronically absent, regardless the excuse, which makes it tough because we certainly do not want kids coming to school sick, and we know that families have other experiences, but that percentage is 10%, which equals 18 days. So anyone who has missed more than 18 days by the regulations across the Commonwealth are considered chronically absent. So I'm going to stop with some of the gloom and doom for a minute and move on to some academic statistics and talk proudly about our district. Each of our elementary schools thrive in the classrooms, they thrive at looking at their data, and they thrive at building a family environment for our students and staff and community alike. As you saw those mascots parade across the field, while we are and will always be the Easton Red Rovers, each of our schools have an alter ego or a family dynamic of their own, such as the Forks Falcon, the Shawnee Sharks, the Palmer Panthers, and so on. Within our school district, we have many opportunities for all students who choose to get involved, or our teachers, families, or staff members recognize they may have a talent that falls beyond that of our classrooms. Within our system, while our academics are strong and we're very proud of the diverse offerings that we also have a very strong arts program, and I mean that globally, from our performing arts, musical arts, and creative arts as well. As you know, we have a strong athletic department where many of our students thrive. And we also have many clubs, particularly at our high school. The opportunities certainly do grow as they go up in years, but there are many clubs that meet before, after, or occasionally during the school day for students to become engaged. We hope that if you feel perhaps that you don't belong or where you fit in, that you will seek a conversation with your friends, your guidance counselor, staff members, or parents to reach out and see what clubs, sports, athletics, or special academic programs we offer that might interest you. With that, I'd like to talk a little bit about our academic data. When we talk about academic data, there are a couple of ways to look at that. You hear a lot about achievement, but we also talk about growth. And it is often debated which is more important and why. And among all of you sitting there, particularly as I see a few of our teachers, you may have varying opinions of which is more important. Certainly, achievement talks about how well you do on standardized tests, on norm reference tests. Achievement talks about what your grades are in a classroom and how you rank amongst peers in your grade level, in your class, or across the state. Achievement is an indicator that not always 100% reflects the abilities of our students, but it is an indicator that is used nationally to notice how competitive people are academically as they move into their post-high school experience. And for that reason, our academics are critically important. We need each student to show up every day, try their best every day. The other indicator that we talk about is growth. And from my opinion, that is the more honest, reflective, and important indicator. Growth talks about, a student's progress on any given day through the course of a week, the course of a unit of study, or across the course of a year. Growth is gained by showing up, putting your best foot forward every day, asking questions when you don't understand, our teachers seeking to understand how their instruction influenced the progress of our students, and recognizing the fact that they may need to reteach it in a different way. Growth indicates the amount of movement that happened from an academic standpoint from the first day of attendance in our school to the last day of attendance. I'm going to share with you some statistics around our achievement and growth. And what I will say is we are very proud of the work our students and teachers are doing. At the same time, I'm going to acknowledge that we have a lot of work ahead of us. For reading, which we also call English and Language Arts, these are averages among our 9 schools. Thank you, honey. Thank you. These are averages among our 9 schools. So for English Language Arts, 47% of our students are achieving at a proficient or better rate. The state average for language arts is 54%. In our district, among our 9 schools, that average achievement for reading language arts ranges from 24% to 61%. However, the growth in reading English language arts, the average for our 9 schools is 67% of our students are achieving, growth has put them in the proficient or advanced percentile for growth from the time they started the year until now. Again, these numbers are last year's, as this year's have not been completed. The state average on growth is 75%, and our range is 50 to 86%. In mathematics, the achievement average for our schools is 39% of our students who achieve at a rate of proficient or higher. The state average is 40, and the range within our district is 18 to 61. Our mathematic growth, meaning the growth that students made from day one till now, is 75% growth. The state average is also 75%. And the range among our schools for mathematics is 54 to 93. In science, we have 66% of our students achieving proficient or better. The state average is 59%, and our range is 36 to 89%. Our growth is 70%. The state average growth is 75, and our range is 50 to 89%. Some of you, both parents, community, and staff, participated last year in developing our comprehensive plan, which is largely around reading goals. Goal 1 was to have students reading by grade level in 3rd grade by the end of the 26-27 school year at a rate of 85% or better. The benchmark for this year, was, I believe, 75, and for next year it is 85, and then following year over 85. The second goal was to have 80% or more of our K-8 students reading at a level that is considered proficient or better. The goal for this year is 60% of the students, 75% next year, and 80 or above for the following. Also important to our district is our diversity. And as I opened my remarks and talked about the diverse community that we belong to, regardless of your political views, regardless of your station, background, race, culture, in the Easton Area School District, we believe and will continue to believe that all students have the right and we have the responsibility to educate everyone. That will not change. It will not change with executive orders. It will not change until our demographic in Easton is a mono-singular demographic. Until then, we pledge, and it is our obligation, to educate everyone. Also important to the district is another piece that many of you participated in, and it is our profile of the graduate. Our profile of the graduate is in its 2nd or 3rd year. Our first year was working with our community and staff to develop what those some call soft skills outside the academic world. What else do we want our students to leave school with? Last year and this year, I was honing in on those skills and giving students opportunities to express those skills. We have also more recently started acknowledging alumni and staff members who exemplify those skills as role models for our students. Those tenets are effective communicators. As our students leave here, we hope that they have a voice that they are willing to share, regardless their perspective. We hope that they will share that voice loud and clear, but respectfully. We want our students to be innovative problem solvers, think on their feet, think globally, and think beyond the small box of the Easton Area School District to see how they can be problem solvers for our country. We want our students to be empathetic collaborators, not only learn how to work together, but to do so with empathy towards different opinions, viewpoints, or perspectives. We want our students to be critical thinkers, creative thinkers. Again, don't get locked into a box or what you think we want. Shine in a way that only you can. We want our students, staff, and community to be continuous learners. Every day, if you open your eyes and look around, there is something to be learned. And we certainly want our students to be empowered citizens, to be able to go out into the community, look at things that are working well, and emphasize that so it continues. And look around to see areas that perhaps can be improved and put their talents to work. I am going to wrap this up in a few minutes so that you can go enjoy our tables, but I have two more areas that I want to address quickly. One is critically important, and you're going to hear about it at our school board meeting this Wednesday. For those of you who follow our meetings, that is a change of date. So our meeting is at 7 o'clock, Wednesday the 21st, as opposed to next week. And that item I want to speak towards briefly is our budget. We are fully aware that our budget is partially, a large part, due to your taxes and your support. A public school district budget is funded in 3 ways: our state funds, our federal funds, and our local funds. Our taxes are our local funds. Our district has been steadfast in having our tax increases be as minimal as possible year over year. This year, we are proposing to our school board and our community to increase our taxes slightly above the 2% you are familiar with. We, as an administration, are making a recommendation to have our tax increase a 3.5% tax increase. That is a challenge for us to recommend. Certainly as a resident and taxpayer of Easton, myself, it's not a favorable thing to stand here and say. It is a very difficult decision our board and community faces, and regardless of that decision, we will respect that decision and move forward. The reason we are asking for that tax increase is because we've also been talking about for a number of years our high school. We have been very fortunate over the course of the last 5 to 8 years to renovate, rebuild, or beautify every one of our schools. Our high school is the last school to be addressed. Our high school is a large building. Our high school is the flagship of the district. It is the place from where our graduating seniors will finish their experience here in Easton. And while none of us sitting here think that we have to have the Taj Mahal or the latest and the greatest, we do think we owe it to our students, our staff, and our community to have a high school that is reminiscent of one that they would be pleased to graduate and call home. As we looked at this project, we considered 3 options. One was to yet again renovate the existing building. We can certainly do that. It will not give us some of the items that we feel are necessary. Classrooms that still have chalkboards, classrooms that really only fit 20 kids comfortably, hallways that are overcrowded, and so on. We talked about, should we do a hybrid, keep part of the existing building and then build on to that? And again, there were some possibilities in that can and were explored. The financial benefit to that does not outweigh that of building a new high school. So again, our current recommendation is to tear down the existing high school and build a new. And actually, if we move forward with that plan, we will build a new and then tear down. So for the most part, our students will remain in the existing building while the other one is being built. It is also important for you to recognize and know that throughout the summer, there will be public meetings that will be held alongside our board in which we will talk about that planning process in which you and our board will have some input as to what you think that new building, if in fact that is the direction we go, should include and perhaps look like. Those dates, I believe, have been advertised, but we will certainly push them out again via our messenger system. At this time, I am beyond the limits of what I wanted to speak to you today, so I don't cut short the opportunity for you to meet our friends that are here today with booths and tables. But before I close out and turn it back over to Mr. Hess, I do want to make one special thank you to my executive assistant, who is probably hiding somewhere, Miss Allie Ramirez, with whom this would not have been possible. So I thank you for all of your hard work, dedication, and time today. Thank you for coming out. Mr. Hess, if you don't mind closing us out, I would appreciate it.
At this time, we would like to thank our staff and community partners who are here to share information with you. We invite you to visit our tables and get something to eat. While you are doing that, please enjoy the musical stylings of members of our jazz band led by Mr. Christopher Ballantyne. Please also feel free to get your picture taken with our mascots, who will be over by the field house. Enjoy your night, and thank you for coming. We will conclude our evening at 8 o'clock.
Mr. Hess, thank you for your support each year. Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy the rest of the evening.